Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is, what is it? Farm Sanctuary. And you can help me help the animals by either watching my stream and bringing your friends, because I'll be making a donation at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count. Or you can donate to our charity fundraiser here on Twitch. Bigman2K wonderfully donated $10 yesterday, so we already met our goal, but we can always exceed that, so please donate if you're able. There's also a link somewhere in my description here on Twitch, in my channel description. I actually don't know what the difference is when you're viewing on mobile versus on desktop. But there's a link to Farm Sanctuary there too if you'd just like to donate to them directly. It's also Thursday, which means it's time for more illustration. As you can see, this is what we left off on yesterday. My pigeons Christmas card. And I came up with a great name for it. It's called Cozy Christmas Coodlers. Because a pigeon goes cuckoo, and then they're cuddling, so they're Coodlers. So I am really happy with that name that I came up with for it. Before we get started, speaking of the pigeons, I just put the pigeons back in their apartment. They were enjoying some free fly time in the den downstairs, but I am going to put some nail oil on. My hands are super dry because I just washed my hands after it's a bit messy taking their flippers off. If you don't know what a flipper is, it's a flight diaper so that you can have your bird charges fly freely in your home and their home without making a mess. But just like changing anybody's diaper, it can get a bit messy. So my fingers are really dry from washing my hands after that, and I'm not going to be able to handle it if I don't put a little... I put the nail oil on in the winter because my skin is just naturally really dry. It doesn't have very much natural oil in it, and so when I wash my hands in the winter... It's not technically winter yet, but it's cold enough, basically, that the air is super dry, and so lotion is not enough this time of year. Alright. Like, my skin is so dry that putting oil on is not a problem at all for this once I get it rubbed in nice. It won't leave any oily marks on the drawing because that's how dry my hands are. They're so dry. So dry. Okay. There's only a little bit more to do on this sketch. I just want to make sure it's absolutely absorbed. So that's pretty good. I'm actually also going to take off my hoodie. So that was a lot of activity in the past half hour. Getting ready for the live stream. Getting the pigeons settled back in their apartment. Because they can only stay in the flippers for a few hours, obviously, because it's collecting their poops, and you don't want them sitting in their own poops for very long. So I have to spend the time to clean them up and get them settled, because it's too cold for them to go outside now. That's why I've started doing... this is going to drive me crazy. You hear that boop boop? That's from my laptop. And even though the laptop is closed, it's still making noises. And it's coming from Discord. I figured that out. Even though Discord sounds should be off, I wonder if I should just fix it now, because it's going to drive me crazy if it keeps beeping. Okay. Y'all are just going to have to deal with this with me. I'm going to move stuff. It's a problem because my mic and my main camera are sitting on top of my laptop. that's the way I can make this work. So big main camera is gonna wobble about a bit. Prepare yourselves. Don't get sick as you go on this crazy ride. There we go. Okay, now I can open my laptop and get those sounds turned off. It even says my antivirus software is like, silent mode is turned on. Well, it's not that silent, but what it means is its own alerts. So let me, yeah, Discord isn't even open. Oh, there it goes again. Boop, boop. Driving me crazy. Let me get in the settings. That's how you know this is live stream, not scripted. As if anybody suspected my ridiculous videos. Let's see, notifications. I want all sounds. Yes, disable all notification sounds. Man, I've got to go through. I wish Discord would just import your settings. You know, I'm logged in on my desktop PC over there. And then my laptop, oh, the camera's not showing you where the laptop's this way. I wish that when I signed in on my laptop that it just imported all my settings, but it did not do that. Maybe I can save the settings and then, but anyway, I got the sounds turned off, so that's enough for now. Later I'll go through and check all the settings against each other and close it, X out of it, but it doesn't matter. It's still alive in the background. Okay, good. Now I can close the laptop, put the camera and microphone back where they go, and get back to what I wanted to work on today, which is live streaming some illustration work, especially because I want to finish this piece in 4 2-hour streams. One of those 2-hour streams is already gone. That was yesterday. So I've got to make a lot of progress today. It's not too bad though. All that's left, really, unless I want to put a little bit more detail in their feathers, but I was thinking maybe I'll just do that with the marker because I want to make this a marker piece. It'll go faster than watercolor. I haven't added their cute little Santa hats on their heads yet. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing. Oh, plus I wanted to fix that. I'm not liking this leaf. It's a little too in your face. I think what I want is for it to be behind these leaves here. So let's just get this size of eraser. I'm going to erase this leaf. So probably the camera's going to shake like crazy while I'm erasing like crazy. Hopefully it's not too bad. That's one thing with this new fancy camera that I have. It's so wobbly. I guess that's the exchange for having a camera that can move about so easily in so many directions. It's just really floppy. Ah, look at that. What the heck? Why is it like that? Oh, it's because of my own thing. I'm so confused. Okay. Excuse me, Aoife. There we go. I was confused because my own drawing being sideways. I thought it was the camera, but the drawing was just sideways. There we go. Okay. Alright, camera still is a little bit off. And we could lower it a bit too. Get a little closer. That's alright. Okay, let's get back to drawing these holly leaves. So we want to make them in, I was going to say in the background, but not in the background, in behind. Although this is a little too even. Okay, Little more erasing. I'm not even looking at the reference image. I remember it from yesterday. The holly leaves don't have these spikes at really even intervals, actually. Even though that's how I grew up drawing them, that's how they're stylized so often in Christmas cards and things. There. Something more like that is what I was seeing in the reference image. Whoop. There. Now what we want is a leaf coming in behind. And I didn't want it to be so well lined up with this line and lined up with Sora's face. It was drawing too much attention to itself that way. Alright, I've drawn a little tangent there, so I'll fix that in a second. Don't want tangents there distracting. Although, that's not that bad when I look at it. I'll leave it. Changing my mind. It's also in the interest of time, trying to make this go faster. Oh, that's so much better, though. That looks so much better. This big leaf drawing attention up at the top of the card. Like, there's no reason to have a whole bunch of attention at this top edge. We want the attention here and here. All right, Santa hats. Santa hats. So I want them to look like they go well on their little pigeon heads. I had them sticking up straight like this. But I also, in this sketch, have the pigeons way farther down on the page, so I think I will have them flopping over. Santa hats flopping over. And it's actually not that fantastical to put Santa hats on my pigeons, because the flippers I was talking about, they have, well, they only have one right now. I want to get the elf one, but they have a Santa flipper, and it looks like a Santa suit, and it says Santa on it. So they actually do have themed clothes. I really want to get the elf one, but the flippers are not that cheap, so it's just sort of on my wish list. It's actually in my Habitica rewards list. I can't remember what the achievement was that I set for it. So Habitica is fun. You just choose your own rewards, your own goals, your own tasks, and then it's sort of like a little web-based RPG that you play. You're turning your own everyday life stuff into a fantasy RPG. It's really fun. I've been using it for ages and ages. I still use it, even though they got rid of the ability to sort of screen people to ensure they'll be a good fit for your party. You can just add random people, or if you find someone outside of Habitica who seems like they would be a good fit for your party, then you could invite them individually, but you can't really find people within Habitica anymore. So my party has gotten very, very small. It's just 2 active people and 2 people who check in once in a while. So it's a little bit lonely on there, but it's such a good productivity and habit building app. That's why it's called Habitica, that I still use it. Even if for some reason the rest of the people in my party go inactive, I'll still use it because it's just so nice. It helps me remember to do things that I might otherwise forget. And then it rewards me for getting chores done and stuff that otherwise doesn't really have much reward. mean, yeah, doing a chore in and of itself, there's the reward of this thing that needed to be done is done, and so your life is better, but that's not actually very rewarding. You can think of it that way, but you want something. You want to get something. So this helps you get something. I'm not really liking this Santa hat, but maybe I'd like it better if it was flopping towards us instead of away. Let's try that. Not using any reference at all, so that's why I just have to do a lot of erasing, because I figure it out on the page. Experiment on the page. Try again. So it's just so iconic to have this little pom-pom ball at the end. Have white trim, and then the little pom-pom ball. Everybody recognizes that. Santa hat. Oh yeah, that's way better. So let's just erase these lines that are now covered up by the flopped over. It looks like a nightcap hat. Cap hat. That's a double. What is that called? When you use a word twice. Like when you say PIN number, but PIN means personal identification number, so what you're saying is personal identification number. It's kind of like what I just said. Nightcap hat. This nightcap is like one word, and then I said hat. Okay. That looks way better. Yay! That's so cute. That is so cute. I had another thought today that we could decorate their space down here, or just have a little bit of something sticking up out here in these corners. Maybe have some holly leaves sticking out in the front, or something else. And we could have bells, or, you know, something to fill the space more with themed, like symbols of a Christmas. So we really get the idea across. And also it just makes it more interesting looking. Yep, that's what it needed. Needs the pom-pom to be in the front. I think I've got to switch this eraser out finally. I'm getting that hard plastic bit that it's attached to. Okay, hold on. Let me get these little bits off of the paper. Little eraser bits. Cool, I'm going to get to show you something fun. Okay, let me bring this down. So this is the Tombow Mono 0 with the round eraser. I also have the Tombow Mono 0 with this square, well, rectangular eraser. So these are the two. And this one is at the end of its, well, I don't know, life, or the end of its stick. I'll show you what I mean. These are great because they're refillable, so it's a little less waste than it would be. So you can hold it like this, and then, oh, there's this little stick in there. And that's all of the eraser, and the bit of the stick that's sticking into the eraser here. Let's see if I can focus on this. I don't know. It's too small. Anyway, that plastic bit is now starting to come through, and it's scratching my paper. So we're going to get a refill out of my drawer, which has all my eraser stuff in it. Which drawer is that? Top drawer, middle drawer. Oh, those are cutting tools. These are pasting tools. It's got to be in here. Oh, yep. This is my refills drawer. It also has a lot of pen refills. I'm not seeing the erasers though. Maybe I moved them. There are a couple erasers in here, but they're paired. I have one that is for erasing erasable pen. Another one is in a tube with graphite refills, so there's another place that my erasers could be. But I gotta check the closet on the other side of the room, so give me a second. Believe it or not, my stuff is actually fairly well organized, except for these piles of stuff that I have that I need to put away. But I have so much stuff that I can't remember where I put certain things. Okay, I'm gonna open this. Other drawer, not drawer, door, sliding door. Let's see. Is it here? What the heck? Where are my eraser stuff? Oh! Third option! So I'm not looking at chat. Okay, there's no one in chat. Not looking at it. I found it! Hooray! It's in this scrapbook organizing box. And then it's inside of this organizing box. This is what I did. I put all of my sharpener and eraser stuff in one box. So the refills for the Mono Zero. Is this around? There's what that looks like. So, I can't read it. Tsumekae yo, maybe? This says Keshigomu. That means eraser. I can't read all the kanji. I'm only at an intermediate Japanese level. But here's the instructions. Just stick it right in there real easy. So there's 2 refills in here. Let's compare. So this is how much I used, and this one that I just took out is a refill that I had already put in. I think this is the second one I've used ever since I got this. So this is the third one. And just look how much eraser I've gone through over the years. So I've gone through 2 of these so far that I can remember. So well, we're gonna stick this in here, and then just sort of hold the clicky end down, and then you can just push it right in. Boom! As for this bit, I like to use the TerraCycle all-in-one zero waste boxes. They can take stuff like this and then they actually recycle it. So I save this kind of stuff for that, so that it'll be recycled. I don't like to put it in the trash. I like as little as possible to go into the trash. If it can be remade into something else, that's ideal. Nothing's perfect, of course. I know there's all kinds of problems with recycling, but it's still better than just putting it straight in the trash. Okay, so we're done with this. Put it away. It's in a box, inside of a box, inside of an organizer tower. Boom. Okay, I can close my closet and turn the light off in here. Don't want to leave the light on. It's wasting electricity. There. Yay! Back to work. Let's zoom this back out. I don't remember what I was erasing. Oh, this pom-pom, but I finished erasing it, so we're good. So we don't need that right now. Kumo's hat turn. Yay! Should they both have, yeah, let's just both give him Santa hats. Let's not make it too complicated, but let's make him a little jaunty. We're going to do his hat at a jaunty angle. Yes. And this way we will have his hat go off to the side here. This little pom-pom. Let's erase these lines inside and see what the overall effect is. I like using the eraser to pick up the eraser shavings. Doesn't really work with Western, like American or European erasers. For some reason, they just don't stick together like that. But with the Japanese ones, so this is Pentel, this is Tombow, they just stick to each other. So easy to clean it up. Alright, this is alright. I just want to change the shape a little bit to match his head more. And maybe we'll bring it back a bit too. Make it a bit wider. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Like that. Let's do little holly leaves on the sides. To fill in space and give a vignette effect. So we'll have holly colors in all four corners to frame the image. And that said, I now wonder if my previous, what's the term, determination that having something in the middle here wouldn't be good for the overall composition might be changed now that I have not really done what I originally planned, which was these sort of decorative shapes that just fill the corners and then there's empty space here. Instead, I've got it really filled in with the holly. So it might be good to actually fill the entire scene with holly. I'm feeling more eraser shaving, so I'm gonna sweep them into the trash. There. So if we have holly leaves down here and down here, and having some in the background, or at least, even if I don't draw them with ink when I transfer this to the final page, still if I can add some color or something like that. Oops, I want my pencil. I think that would be good. Well, let's just make this one go all the way down. Changed my mind. Having it all be holly makes it go faster too, so I don't have to look up more reference images, because I was thinking of bells or other sorts of maybe bows and ribbons or something, but we just keep it simple with one plant. And I'll be able to keep closer to my time goal for creating this, which is counting down every moment. I want to get it done in 8 hours. Let's have another leaf coming out like this. Might need to do a little bit more cleanup before I transfer this, just to be sure I don't get confused about which lines I want to keep and which lines I don't. This point is bothering me. A little tangent happening here. It's good to avoid in illustration things that meet perfectly, unless that's the point of your image. You know, like, what is that called? God's creation of man or something like that. And it's like this perfect touching. I wonder if they're even touching, or if it's, I gotta look it up. Is it a tangent or is it just barely? God's creation of man painting. I think it's actually might be a, the creation of Adam. That's what it's called, Wikipedia. Yeah, they're not even touching. Even Michelangelo knows. Look at this. They're not touching. So that would have been a tangent if they had just been perfectly touching one another. So anyway, boom. Classical artist illustrating the point. Haha, illustrating the illustrating the point. Anyway, avoiding tangents here with my holly. So all you have to do to avoid a tangent is just add a little bit of overlap. That's the answer. Have it overlap instead of meeting perfectly at that point. And one might say, well, what about in real life things sometimes look like they're touching like that? No, well, that's okay, because that's real life. Illustration is being able to orchestrate the image, tell the story, so that's not really a good excuse. People would use that excuse in my classes, my illustration classes, and I'm like, So even photographers will go around looking for the perfect angle, trying to avoid that kind of thing as much as possible, trying to get the best lighting, the best orientation of, the best placement of things in the space that they're capturing. So I don't want to be mean, but it just sounds really lazy when folks use that as an excuse. So let's not be lazy. It just looks so much better too. When you put that thought into it, even if someone doesn't know that you put that specific thought into it, the overall effect is so powerful. It changes your image so much. I know, because I've gone through those growing pains myself. I've seen it in my own work. Yes, I love this. Love this. So I don't want it to be too perfect either. So we've got these two bunches radiating out with the berries. But here we just have a little, like 3 fingers of leaves sticking out. And then here we just have one. I don't know if maybe we want another one. We've got more leaves happening on this side of the page. There's 3 here, and then there's 4 here. So maybe we could put a little bit more. Let's add at least one more over here, because there's 3, 4, and this one has 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, gotta move this so that I can. Oh, I can't bring my camera any farther down. Sorry if you can't see this for a second. Whoop. So much eraser bits to clean up here. Refining my leaf some. Ooh, tangent, tangent, tangent. It's gonna happen. Let's stop that. We don't want that. No, 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 no. I just did a big talk about it. So definitely gotta avoid it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This leaf is so substantial that even though there's only 2 over here, I think it's still fairly well balanced with these 3. Let me sweep this. Sweep this off into the trash. Do my best to pick up those little eraser bits, but sometimes they're so small I can't see them, but then I put my hand on the page and I can feel them. And you don't want them on there, because then if you try to draw, they can get in the way and you can end up not drawing the line that you wanted. Oh, they look so cute. They're little Santa hats. Sort of will bring it back a little bit farther. Alright, I'm going to bring up that holly image that I was looking at yesterday. Holly plant is what I searched. I searched holly, but then in order to not get... well, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. In order to not get drawn versions, I had to put plant on the end. So this is a picture that I was using to look at how does this work. And this is nice too, because you can see what it looks like as it goes back into space. you can see the leaves really shining in the front that are closest to the viewer, but then you can also see that there's little bits and pieces that are still visible, but also fade into blackness as they go farther back into the bush. So I'm gonna have some water out of my cute bear bottle that my husband got me. Look at it, it's so cute. It says smile on it. I'm actually almost out of water in here, as you could hear. Alright, let's just add a few more leaves. Maybe we'll have some coming down here, actually. Let me look at this. Yeah, it's like the leaves radiate out from the points where the berries are growing. So let's just have some leaves coming down like this. I have one growing here. Maybe one here and one here. Okay, let's draw those. See what that looks like. I'm actually going to turn it upside down. I'll make a little more room for myself by putting my... Oh! That script sound is my sketchbook going me as I'm scraping it on this tabletop. What is this called? I always want to call it acrylic. It's not acrylic. Vinyl. It's vinyl tabletop cover. Table cover. This leaf ended up being huge. I think I need to trim it down a little bit. I think after drawing them for a couple days I'd be better at these, but I have to keep redrawing it because I draw it and I'm like, no, that's not right. Oh, that's not right. Alright, that's good enough. That's good enough. "15 minutes till break time." Hold on, I think I gotta sneeze. Oh, excuse me, I did sneeze. It is a big one. Oh. Oh, attention happened. tangent. Yep, you're gonna hear that word from me all the time. So there's so many little lines happening here, so it's just inevitable that I'll have to think about it. Actually, I wanted to erase this line anyway, because tangent. Okay. There. Just moved it down a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. That leaf turned out pretty good. I think I drew lines, yes, mid-ribs to represent 2 more. Making good time. If I can get these done in the next 10 minutes, then for the second half we could transfer this onto the marker paper. I might use manga paper. I've been using that a lot. The Aquabee Manga Paper. I like that for my ink and marker drawings. And one more here. Oh, I guess let's see if I can erase this a little better. No, I just drew it too hard in the first place. But that's why the tracing technique is so nice, because even if you have a heavy hand, get a little too excited about something, it doesn't matter too much. As long as you know what you meant by your sketch, then you can just trace what you want to keep. I really like this leaf right here because it comes across, so we don't have anything too perfectly divided and afraid of this line down the middle. So that's something I learned in my illustration classes in college, was you do want to keep this middle line in mind. I wish my camera would focus. Camera struggles so much with this light blue. Anyway, you want to keep this in mind. You don't want to say put Sora's face right here and have it be cut in half. But on the other hand, you don't want to be afraid of this line and avoid it so much that it becomes its own character in your illustration, unless that's what you want, if that's what you're actually intentionally going for. So yeah. The only thing I'm thinking is, should I add a little bit more berries in these bottom corners, just like a couple? Or should we keep the berries up top next to their heads? And it's really hard to say without it being colored. But I guess for now, let's just keep it like this. Let's not make it too complicated because I don't have too much time. I want to get these done in time for Christmas, because it's not just this physical drawing. After the physical drawing is done, I got to get it digitized clean up and do any extra stuff I want to do. I might add little texture to it or some snowflakes or something. You know, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with your digital finishing. And then get it sized. It's already sized to 5 or 10 by 7. But you got to actually pull it into that file and make sure, because when you scan it in at 600, that's actually double what you need for printing, etc. And then actually printing it, which takes a long time. And my Christmas card list is usually pretty big, so it's going to be quite a project. That said, I think that this is good. Yeah, let's get it set up for tracing, because there's still 7 minutes left before break time. So we'll get it set up for tracing, which means so I don't need my sketchbook anymore. So we can close this and get it out of the way. I'll just set it over here. And instead of sketchbook, let's see, I'm going to move this camera. We want the Bright Pad, which is that cool portable tracing table. It's like a light table. Well, I have a light table. A lot of people have a light desk. But it's a portable one. You can plug it in to charge it, but then you unplug it so it's cordless. I just have it plugged in all the time so that it's ready whenever I need it. Here it is. LED A4 Bright Pad it's called. It's kept it in its box for safekeeping to keep it away from dust, so here's the box. Oh, that's not high enough to see the box. Wow. Yeah. So it just plugs in via USB-C. USB-C. And it has this nice clip. Oh, you can't really see that now. Well, I'll show it to you in a second. Here's that. Need the paper that I'm going to trace on. Yeah, I think I'll just use the Aquabee Manga paper. I have 2 pads of it, so plenty. Manga Artist Pad is what it's called. Oh! Well, I must have used up the last of the previous pad. Because this is a new pad. Wow! So this is the paper I'm going to use. Manga Artist Pad. I think it's been updated. This I bought a million years ago. Yeah. Cushman's, that was an art supply store in the town I lived in high school. So that was a long time ago. Well, high school and maybe my first 2 years of college, I think. Anyway, still, that was ages ago. That was ages ago. This is perfect paper to fit on the Bright Pad. Look at that. Okay, so I've got my sheet of paper. I can put the rest of the pad paper back away. That was an 8.5 by 11 sheet, which is perfect for a 10 by 7 illustration, since I really prefer to have some margin for many reasons. Oh, I got 2 sheets of paper out. Whoopsie. Let's see, this one has a little bit of inclusions in it. It's usually from the paper making process or from the binding process. But on the back side, there's none. So I don't even think you can see them, but there's just these little specks. Oh, you can see the speck. There's the speck. So there's no specks on the back. So we're going to use the back. Just line this up. And then, so I've tried to get it as centered as possible. It doesn't matter too much if it's not perfectly centered. Let's turn it on. but it helps to keep it centered so that I'm not distracted, for one, by it being not centered. Okay, I can't just use the clip. I've got to tape it because from left to right, this is the same exact size, but since I pulled this sheet out of my sketchbook, there's about 1/2 inch of paper missing. So I just got to tape it with a little bit of masking tape. I'll use some white. This is actually artist tape, slightly different from masking tape. It's a little thicker, but it's also like masking tape where it's meant to be removable without causing damage. So I just want to center it up and down. Left and right it's centered because of how it's the same size as the paper I'm going to draw it on. But up and down, like I said, there's about 1/2 inch missing, so try to line it up so that it's 1/4 inch at the top and 1/4 inch at the bottom. And with this artist tape, if possible, I try not to tape it where it's going to be blocking or underneath where I'm going to draw, because if it is, you'll have a little skip as your pen goes over it. So that's why I like this little 1/2 inch masking tape for applications like this. So now that is done. So we can stick that under here. Now this is centered, and the bright pad is great because the traditional light desks or light tables that I've seen that are sort of mobile, but you plug it into the wall, it's got a plug. They're also huge, and it's not so easy to just move it like this. But this one is so thin. It's also only like 1/2 inch, so we're dealing with 1/2 inch for everything. Actually, I think it's even smaller. We can compare. So this tape is 1/2 inch, and it's actually wider. So this bright pad is so thin and light, so you can move it, which is great, so that you can really get the lines how you want. Because if you're having to do your hand in an awkward position because you can't move your table, you can't move your drawing, then you really run the risk of making a line that you're not happy with. And this is the point where you want to make the lines that you're happy with. Let me put this sheet of paper back in the pad since I accidentally got 2, and then we're going to go on break. I'm going to take a nice 5-minute break. So I will actually turn these lights off so you can really see. This is only the second time that I'm using this bright pad. My camera is like, what is going on? There, bring it down. There, hopefully that works. It's freaking out. It doesn't know how to handle this. How to handle a backlit thing. Oh, putting my hands in there makes it crazy. Oh, I don't know how well this is going to work, actually. Let's bring it really close. Okay, we'll leave it like that for now, at least for break time. Yeah, I don't know if I used the bright pad with this new main camera either. Anyway, it's time for a break. I hope that everybody else will also take the opportunity to get up, stretch, look at something off in the distance, give your eyes a break, get some water. I'm going to put my Be Right Back sign on and be back in about 5 minutes. Hello everyone, I'm back. I hope you had a great break. I did a little stretching and I refilled my, oh you can't really see it, but I refilled my Bear water bottle. So I'll have plenty of water for this second hour, putting some lip balm on. Like I said earlier, I am so dry because it's cold, so the air can't hold as much moisture, and it's just so dry. My lips are dry, my hands are dry, everything is dry. But now, we are ready to start tracing! Yay! Oh, here comes Aoife. She had a little water too, so she was a little late coming back. Yes, she laid back down in her bed. Chappie's over there on my right. Yes, she's over there on my right. So we're all back in here together. All right. So I'm not going to use this drawing kit anymore. I'm going to get my Mikarts out because I'm just going to ink directly as I trace. I'm going to use a relatively thin pen because if you use thicker ones, even these ones that are, oh, you can't really see this. You can see the silhouette of it, but they're generally safe to use with Copic markers. If you marker on top, it doesn't usually smear the ink, but if you use too much ink, it still can, even if it says marker safe or Copic safe or whatever term. So I'm going to use an O2. That's a fairly thin one. You can see the needle thin tip there. So I'll just work my way from the top right down, since I'm left-handed. Here we go. So since I am inking directly, I do want to be a little more conscious than I would if I was doing a piece where I'm just tracing and then going to ink later, like with watercolor. My plan, if I remember to do this, sometimes I get so excited I forget that I meant to do X or Y thing. But if I remember, I want to come back after I'm done with the marker, coloring with marker, and give the lines a little more interesting treatment. So right now it's just one thickness of line. It's not very interesting. It's just showing the shapes. But I would like the ink lines to have their own personality by the end. But I do that after marker, because like I said, if you put too much ink down and then you marker over the top, sometimes it can smear the ink. So I try to ink with a thin pen first, then get all the coloring done with marker, then jazz up the ink lines, and then do some colored pencil work for the final color details. I'm trying to ink up to this blue border. Oh, you can't really see it because I have the camera so low. Let me back it out a little bit. Just the camera was struggling so much, I thought maybe putting it in close. Plus I realized I can give you this other angle with the lower side camera. There you go. Yay. That's better. Anyway, I don't want to actually ink this outside line. because that'll just be something for me to clean up in Photoshop. So why do that and give myself extra work? So I just want to ink up to it. If I remember, I might forget sometimes and keep going along the sketch, and that's fine because I can just crop that out. There are things I do to try to make life easier for myself, but nothing is ever irreversible or unworkable. You can always do something. You can always salvage it or change it. So this is my first time I'm gonna turn the bright pad so that I can get a better angle. Right here, I did it by accident, but I have this little cut off bit of the holly leaf, and I liked that. Who knows what the story is about that? How it got cut off. Maybe pigeons chewed it a little bit, or it got caught in something. Someone was passing by. But I like those little idiosyncrasies. It gives it a little bit more visual interest instead of everything being perfect. Working our way over, I think the next thing I want to work on is Sora, because these leaves are behind her, so it's just easier to ink it if I have these parts done first. If I have the stuff that's meant to be in front. Of course, it's all flat. Physically, technically, this is just all flat. But we're trying to create an imaginary 3D world. And it helps if I use my fingers like this to hold the top page down onto the bottom page, because sometimes a little air gets in between the two sheets and then it's just a tiny bit blurry. Okay, I realize I want a reference image of Sora's face so I can get the details right there. The pigeons were being very photogenic today, so I have lots of brand new. So here's some. Oh, the exposures are way high because it's trying to deal with the super bright. Well, you can barely. This is not what the photo actually looks like, but the camera is struggling. Anyway, here's these beautiful pictures of Sora from today. So I have plenty of reference of her. Let's see, I guess this one's best. So maybe if I... Well, It's all red and weird looking, but it looks more natural colored in real life. I'm going to use this picture. Just going to set my phone right here. Oh, no, wait. I can't put it next to the microphone because I was going to set it right over there so I could see it easily, but I can't put my microphone next to my smartphone because the smartphone makes the mic go crazy. I'll just put it back on my phone stand. I forgot that's why I put it over here. So I have to look that way for my reference. This way I can see how her nose is, her nares. And then her eye. Their eyes are very circular. They're almost cartoonish. But that's just how they naturally look. Very, very round. Alright, excellent. I wiped as if there's going to be something on the page. Just wiped it without, out of habit. Did it again. Wipe the page. There's nothing there. Okay. Well, it's coming along nice. So I want to get this bottom part, the nest. We can finish Sora and then finish the holly on this side and move over to the what will be the back side of this card. So this is meant to be a greeting card. I don't think I explained that on this stream yet. This is going to be a greeting card and it folds along here. So this is the front and this is the back. that's pretty good. Those lines aren't meeting right here. Let's bring these all the way up. There we go. Okay, going back up to the top, finish these holly leaves. I'm going to start with the leaf that's on the top here. This one here will be next. I just turned down the bright pad because I put my arm on the button that controls that. Changed my mind, I'm doing this leaf next. So all that's done. So now we're coming over to this one. We had that tangent here. So I can just avoid that by not inking so far. Okay, next, this leaf that's behind these two. And it gets so much easier once you've got a bunch of other things inked, because now you're just filling in the gaps. I'm just trying to make sure that I didn't forget anything over here, but I think I got it all. Looks like I just smudged a little line right there. Oh well, we'll fix it in Photoshop later. Continuing on, I think we'll do this one, but then these other leaves coming from the middle will wait until we finish Kumo, because he's in front of them. Okay, so we can go onto the holly berries, or we can do this stuff at the bottom first. Doesn't really matter. I guess I'll just start at the bottom because it's in front. The holly berries are actually technically behind. So I'm going to turn it this way. Turn my drawing this way. Tackle these. Okay, and then let's just finish the nest. We actually have some little nesting materials showing over the edge here on this side. We'll just make little generic swirly lines just like we've got in the sketch. What it is in real life, those little zigzag crinkly strips of paper people use for packing paper, either for shipping or in a present. The pigeons love it. They have two different toys. Well, I call them toys, but I think to the pigeons it's serious business lining their nest. They love picking them out when I refill it with new, fresh strips of paper. A few hours later, they're all over the place. They're not even in the nest yet. They like get them all out first. Pull the camera up a little bit more. Okay. Nest complete. I think. I'm looking one more time just to make sure. It's hard to keep track of the lines. But I think they're all connected from one side to the other. Okay. So now let's finish inking Sora. We didn't finish all the feathers. I've really simplified the feathers on her body. Mostly for the sake of time, because the pigeons are so complicated looking, actually, birds in general. Until I started drawing griffins a lot, I'd never really appreciated how complex birds physically are. The layering of their feathers, it's not just like it's not like hair on a human head where it just grows out and whatever happens. Like, they're layered in a certain way. Different areas have different types of feathers, different lengths, different fluffiness or flatness, you know? So I have really simplified Sora here, just so we can get this Christmas card done in time to send. Because it's usually December 15th is the last day to send things first class via USPS and have them arrive by Christmas. So that's why I'm working on this now, because like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's way more than just drawing and coloring this image for it to be ready to send. I also need to write the messages in the cards. I think this year I'm going to do the same thing I do for my Patreon postcard rewards, which is write one message by hand in Photoshop and then print that message inside all of the cards. Because in the past, I have actually handwritten long Christmas messages to each recipient, and it's just physically painful to write 30 cards. Because often my Christmas card list is 30 to 40 people. You don't think you have very many friends and family, and then you do Christmas cards and you're like, oh no, I have too many friends and family. That happens to me every year. So this year I'm going to keep it more simple. Just going to write the one message to everyone. And then of course I'll still handwrite the addresses. I'll handwrite the name, dear whoever. But I'm going to save myself a little bit of physical grief by not handwriting 30 individual messages this year. I guess you wouldn't see it because this one is covering. So we'll see this line, the feather. Okay, I think Sora is done. Hooray! Well, moving on. Kumo, you are next. Look at his little Santa hat. Let's get a nice picture of Kumo so I can get his face right. Oh, yep, this one will work. This one from this morning. Once again, it's struggling. Well, anyway, this is not what it looks like. This rear red look is not what it looks like. It looks nicer than that. Anyway, I'm going to use this as my reference for what his face looks like. He's got such an elegant little beak. He's got a short beak, but it's sharp and beautiful. Oh shoot, I turned it off. Whoops. I don't really like touch buttons, but it does make it nice because it's flat there. There's not like a little button sticking up for you to keep getting caught on, but that also means that I accidentally just touch it with my arm. Make sure this is centered on camera for you. Sometimes I get so into it I forget that I'm sharing. Doing dashed lines around the edge of the eye where his eyelids are, because the pigeons have a sort of textured eyelid, so I'm trying to show that with some dotted lines. And actually for Kumo's eye, for Sora I've drawn the pupil. Her pupil is very obvious. I can actually show you with this. You can see her pupil, and then her iris is yellow. It's like a golden yellow color. Kumo, though, has a very dark brown iris, so his eye just looks like it's all black. So he looks even more like a cartoon character, so I'll just leave it and not show the differences. That'll be fairly realistic to do it that way. And here's Kumo's back. Oh look, Kumo is up. Look at, there he is. Chibi Kumo is on the screen right now. Yay, perfect. He's right next to it. Meet, 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 meet. Wait, I'm gonna turn it this way. Not actually sure what's going on here. I think it just becomes smooth against his neck. Okay, I'll turn it back over. Now Chappie is in the chibi cam. The chibi zone. And I'm drawing his extremely fluffy, beautiful chest feathers. It's like an ascot or something. Okay. Alright, I think that's all for Kumo. That good. Now we just gotta finish this holly. So we'll finish these two and then we'll do this bunch here and then we'll be done with the lines. Yay! We can get started on marker today maybe. We got 15 minutes left, so we'll see. Might take 15 minutes to finish these holly leaves. Ah! I'm turning the light down. No! I wonder if I could put something... Ooh. That's a great idea. Great idea. Just gonna put my business card. Get a little piece of tape. And then I can flip the business card when I want to access those buttons. But hopefully this will cover it up so that I don't keep turning it down. Just put this like here. Oh no, look. It doesn't work, dang. Oh. Yeah, it can even detect it. I guess it's pressure sensitive, so oh well, I tried. Well, I'll just turn it all the way the other way around and do the lines this way. Okay, this one is on top. This leaf is on top. There are definitely some little lines that I'm going to try to either smooth out with ink later, or if that doesn't work or it doesn't seem like I can make it work in ink, then I'll just change them in Photoshop. I won't point them out now because I'll just be pointing them out later in a different stream, so we'll save that for that time. Alright, the middle holly is done. We just have to do this last bunch in the corner. Okay, all the berries are done. Let's just get these 4 leaves. Oh, 10-minute warning. 10 minutes to go. Oops, turning it down again. Gotta remember, I have to turn it all the way around so that I don't hit those buttons. That's the one negative thing I've found with this bright pad, but it's attached to a positive thing. Like I said, it's way better having these be flat touch buttons than be something that sticks up. Then again, it could be on the side. They could have put them on the side. Still, I'm not complaining because this is such a great tool. I definitely recommend it to anybody who's thinking of getting something like this. It's the perfect size for my cards, as you can see, for my greeting cards 10 by 7 that I make so many of, so many designs. Now I'm just looking the image over before I call it done to make sure I haven't missed anything. Ah, I have missed something. This line right here, that's Sora's tail. And actually I'm going to have it be a little higher so that it's not competing with that bedding. Just make it a little higher. So here's Kumo's tail. This is Sora's tail. That's why I always look it over first, instead of instantly rejoicing that this step is done. Now, let's make sure it's actually done. Of course, it's not the end of the world if you do miss a line, but it makes it easier for yourself if you can catch them all at this point. So how about let's add a little bit of this bedding, this nest lining material here, so that it's not all only on this side. Here her wing is coming out this way, so it makes sense that you wouldn't see it too much because their body kind of goes in like this, so the wings are like this. If we're looking from top down, the wings come out like this and it comes into a sort of taper toward the tail. But you might be able to see a little bit here toward the front because it also tapers and curves around to the chest too. And then we have the same rhythm of line happening in the front as well, so it's not weirdly starting right at this halfway point. We can have some happening over here too. Yeah, I think that's good. Just a little tiny touch of that texture. That crumply texture. Anything else that I missed, or have I got it all? Well, I think I got it all. So let's put this pen away. And we'll turn the lights back on. We can turn this off. Oh, look how nice it looks. Oh, it's just prime and ready for coloring. I think maybe it would be good if I scanned this in before starting coloring. There's only 6 minutes left. So instead of starting coloring, let's scan this in, because then I could make it a coloring page and offer it for purchase on my Patreon and DeviantArt. So that's fun. I didn't even think about that, but as soon as I saw the finished version just then, it just struck me as a really nice coloring page. Of course, I would like to make the lines a little bit more interesting for a coloring page. But I could just clean up like this smudge here and a few little things that I noticed and just put it for purchase like this. So let's do that. I'm just gonna bring it over here. We've got 6 minutes. So So right now I am using my swipey brush to swipe off any pet hairs or dust that got on top of my scanner glass, and also doing the same thing on the drawing. Now I'm setting the drawing in the scanner and closing it. Next, I gotta move some of my equipment. So I've moved my monitor over to my PC workstation. I'm gonna move my microphone. I'll try to do it quietly. Hopefully this doesn't make too much noise. There, I've got that. And then I just need my mouse and keyboard. I'll switch this over to my desktop capture in a second. Don't worry, I won't just be narrating it the whole time. I mean, I'll be narrating it, but you'll get to see what I'm doing in a second. Let me get the scanner software going. I'm going to do preview on there. And while that preview is generating, switch it over to desktop capture. All right, there we go. So you can see that. I'm going to move this marquee. And then let's flip it so it's the right orientation. And then scan. This says scan chu, 1 of 1. So scan means scan. This is in Japanese. For some reason it decided to be in Japanese. I don't know. Windows is random sometimes because I have both Japanese and English on my PC, and then it decides, you know what, these apps are going to be in Japanese. And I'm like, okay. So chu means middle. So it basically means in the middle of scanning. In English we just say scanning. But this means scan chu. Scan middle, so in the middle of scanning. Oh, I can show you better the images that the photos I took this morning, the pigeons. That one, the ones I was using for reference today. This one. And this one. I didn't use this one for reference, but here they are downstairs having their fliper time. Next to my delicious bag of chips and popcorn. Well, I suppose I could get Photoshop going while we're waiting for the scan. Yep, this is perfect. And I said I wanted to do marker. I could just color it digitally. I want to do marker. I haven't done marker in so long, and I drew it specifically on this paper so that I could marker color it. I really want to marker it, so I'm not going to change my mind. Okay. Good. Got that open. We just got a couple minutes left. So we're done with this, and we just open this in Photoshop. And I shall turn my scanner off so you don't have to hear that whining noise the whole rest of this stream. So we're just going to open it in Camera Raw. Open it from Camera Raw. We don't need the Camera Raw stuff. So let's make a new file. Look, it's already the correct stuff I want because of making that mock-up yesterday. Adobe RGB, yes. So everything looks good. Create. And now what we can do is drag this. Oh wait, you know what though? Let's change this. I just realized that was at 300. We want 600, not 6,000. Oh god. Inches. So we want 10 by 7 with 600 pixels per inch, which makes it bigger on the computer. We just scanned this in at 600, so that's what we want. I'm going to bring this over here, and that way it is already, it will just naturally crop the image to the right size. In fact, it even seems like we could make it a bit smaller. because it's a tiny bit bigger. Scan it a tiny bit bigger. So what if we did that? Oh, we're at time. We're at time. Ah! Oh yeah, I think we're just gonna have to, oh, because it's pulling it in all directions. Blast it, I wish it wouldn't do that. Well, we'll leave it like this. I'll mess around with that later, off stream, because we are at time, so let's call it good. It's interesting, both yesterday and today had a little bit of digital or Photoshop. I'm not sure if you call it digital work. Yeah, it's digital work because we're on the computer. Anyway, that is it for today. I think we're making excellent progress. I just have to get this colored in next week's 2 streams, and then I'll meet my goal. And I realized that there is a little bit of wiggle room. If I really can't get it done, I could work on it off stream during Thanksgiving break, or I could work on it during the first week of December. So I still have that to fall back on, but I'm not going to get lazy because of that. I'm just telling myself that I don't have to freak out if I can't get it completely done next week. So we'll see what we can do. But tomorrow is Chibi Friday, so we're going to work on a different project tomorrow. We're going to go back to working on those Chibi food pin back buttons and magnets. We're going to see how far we can get on that. Might even get to actually physically making them and showing the button making process, so that would be really fun. So that is it for me today. I'll be back at the same time as not usual because I changed my time, but the same time as today and yesterday for another 2-hour stream. I hope to see you then. Thank you for watching.